Welcome to the Ben Mulroney Show on this Monday, August 18th. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is a very big day in politics in Canada because Pierre Poilievre, by all accounts, I mean, unless the world goes cockamamie, is going to win his by-election in Battle River-Crowfoot. In the last election, Daniel Keurig won by 82.84% of the vote. It's the second most conservative riding in the country. And so you'll remember Pierre Poilievre did not win his seat in the riding of Ottawa-Carleton. And so he needed to present himself in a by-election in order to get a seat in the House of Commons to resume his role as the leader of the opposition. He's going to win, despite the longest ballot committee, which I think is just such a waste. Such a waste of time. He's going to win. He's going to win by a lot. And so we're going to be paying attention to that. I think the wild card in this is voter intention. I don't know the names of the other 213 people on the ballot, but if I were to write PP, because that's how a lot of people abbreviate Pierre Poilievre. If I had to write PP, my intention is to vote for Pierre Poilievre. But what if there's another person with the same initials on that ballot? Pretty sure you have to spoil that ballot. And if you butcher spelling Poilievre, there's a silent I in there, and there's some people think there's two L's. I think it could get tricky. But he's going to win. And then what he does with that victory will determine a lot as he faces a leadership review. Right now, there are a lot of people saying he's not the right guy for the job. I am not one of those people, given the whiplash that we endured from the time Justin Trudeau said he was going to leave to the time we elected another Liberal government. Nobody predicted any of that. Nobody. And so you're going to tell me that if those 6 months were unpredictable, you're going to predict the next 3 years? Okay, sure. Whatever you say, buddy. So there's a wait and see situation. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to have Pierre on the show tomorrow to discuss. But I wanted to talk about Parks Canada. And we will be talking with Tom Korski from Blacklock's Reporter, who broke this story. The fact that Parks Canada in 2024 had a board meeting where they changed the rules, making it so that my dad would be the first prime minister to be subjected to the new rules, meaning that we now have to wait 25 years after his death before Parks Canada will honor him. Right? He's still a figure of national importance, great, just like every other prime minister. However, because they need to wait under these new rules, nothing can happen in terms of honoring him for 25 years. And any way you cut this is a boneheaded decision. Apparently, they sent us a letter in the mail over email to sort of explain their decision, that they had a spirited debate about all of this. And I don't care that they had a spirited debate. I care that this decision was made. What do you have to wait on, Parks Canada? What do you have to wait on? He stopped being prime minister in 1993. It is now 2025. You want to wait another 25 years after that? This country is 150 years old. You want to wait over 50 years before you can determine the value or the importance of the work my dad did? How obtuse are you? How foreign is the concept of what he's done that you have to wait 50 years, more than 50 years? What don't you get that the entire country got with a stamp, with a state funeral, with moments of silence that popped up spontaneously at hockey games, with people waiting in line for 2 days in Ottawa and 2 days in Montreal, with the world and the leaders of the world standing up to talk about how important he was? And let's put that aside for a moment. Let's talk about his impact on the Parks Network of Canada. That's your job. This is your lane. In the history of Canada, No prime minister extended the national parks network more than Brian Mulroney, to the tune of 4 national parks a year for each of his terms, 8 in total. Nobody has done that, on top of his environmental accomplishments, which are head and shoulders above any other prime minister. You need 25 more years? You need 25 more years on that. A little context for you. Pierre Trudeau was laid to rest on October 3rd, 2000. A grand total of 24 hours later, the Liberal government announced that the highest peak in Canada, Mount Logan, was going to be renamed Mount Trudeau. You know, I had a problem with that? Historians who said, hey, buddy, guy, Logan was an important geologist, a surveyor. Without him, we wouldn't know a whole lot about the interior of this country. And so they backed down. There's apparently a mountain range called the Premier Mountain Range that was reserved to name after prime ministers. The government of the day blew past any checks and balances because they want to honor him the day after he was put in the ground. But with my dad, we have to wait 55 years after he stopped being prime minister. This is nonsense. It reminds me, I was on a road trip once with my best friend. The radio wasn't working. We were traveling between Ottawa and Los Angeles. The radio wasn't working. And so we had to figure out how to pass the time. And we were having a debate over what was more likely, a Deep Impact scenario or a Godzilla scenario, because both of those movies had been out. And we got so excited about it that we started speeding. We were stopped by the cops. He asked us why we were speeding. We told him. You know what he told us? That was a dumb debate, boys. Slow down. And so I will say this to them, to the board at Parks Canada. This was a dumb debate. Speed up. This is a terrible debate. And the fact that you changed the rules right before my dad, that way you were able to tell us in a letter, oh, we observed all the rules. What do you have to wait on? What aren't you getting? And I'll finish on this. My dad has went on the record at every opportunity to say that without the contribution of my mother, without her by his side, without her counsel, without her measured point of view, without her enthusiasm, without her buy-in, without her commitment, my father would never have been prime minister. Without my mother, my father never would have risen higher than to be the most successful senior partner at his law firm. My dad does not become prime minister without my mother. You want to honor my mother? Then you make sure she's alive when you honor my father. 25 years from now, I don't know that my mother is around. 25 years from now, I don't know if I'm around. I don't know if my sister's around. You want to show respect to my father? You show respect to my mother. And you have guaranteed with this dumbfoundingly stupid decision that she will not be there on the day that he would be honored. And the work that he put into Parks Canada and the importance of the environment for him as a prime minister. You should be honoring him today. This is I'm trying not to take offense to it, but I don't know this board. I don't know these 4 people who made this decision. I've been told that they're deeply political. I'll let other people decide that. But this is a layup for you. Change your decision. Change it now, because this is dumbfoundingly stupid. And that the letter that you wrote to us was confusing. And I know I'm putting myself in a tricky position because at some point we're going to need these people and I may have insulted them, but you have insulted me. You've insulted my mother. You've insulted my father. And I take deep offense to this. I'll let my family be more diplomatic than I. That is not my job and it is not my temperament. This is a shameful decision by Parks Canada. And if you don't know the importance of Brian Mulroney today, you never will. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.